Well, hello there. My name is Louis, aka Louis the Frenchy Monette, and you're watching Ready Set Multiplex. Now, on today's episode, we're not doing specific on one or two matches or even interviews. We're actually doing a recap of the Multiplex Warzone tournament. So far, we're at round 2. So that being said, I got my man, like usual, Mr. Dave. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm really excited to talk about this tournament. We've broken down a couple of the matches as we've been coming up, but it's been made more clear and clear that there's so many amazing matches that we haven't been able to cover and so much good stuff that is upcoming that we needed to do an episode like this.
Yeah, exactly. Because more I've been watching Multiplex. We haven't had time to do comments on all of them, but more I've been watching them. More I see like the superstars and the B-listers, right? And we even haven't had that much time to cover as much as I would like to the up and coming superstars. And this is why we're doing this episode right now, is to really see who are the main staples of Multiplex compared to other players, and who we also see that could evolve eventually, because there's a couple of players that might be eliminated right now or might not do as well right now, but I see potential of growing, like Lights Out did apparently last season. They had communication errors. Now they're a force to be reckoned with. So there's a lot of things to talk about right now. Let's start with the first match, which is Wild Stallions versus Tobin Spirit Guide, which personally I don't mean is probably one of the worst names.
Wow. Shots fired across the bow.
Just saying. Wild Stallions is obviously the team with Jeremy on, and I love Jeremy. I rooted for this team and this match, and my candor was well deserved because they blew it out. Not to be mean, but Tobin Spirit Guy didn't impress me at all. But on the flip side, Wild Stallions really did well.
Yeah, I think Wild Stallions clearly got a lot of. They have a lot of raw talent, and they look like a very impressive team. Jeremy, as you said, has been someone to look out for. It always is helpful when opponent's choice comes up in any match, but still, that is nothing to take away from this. I had Wild Stallions going into this match, and I was not so surprised to see how they did here, but I was very much impressed by just the level of knowledge that they were able to display.
Yeah, and not just the level of knowledge, their confidence in their knowledge, because there's a difference between knowing it and how you display it. And Jeremy's a king of that. There's he knows what he knows, but he likes to, as much he's not big on the kayfabe and stuff like that. He's a very confident dude in his knowledge, and he really shines through that. This is the type of guy that if you don't take seriously, you're out.
Oh yeah, that is something that I think is very, very impressive about this team. They come in very highly ranked at number 2, but as I talk to some people, they aren't a team that so many people have talked about going all the way and even winning or being able to win this.
Yeah, my choice, but as much as I know Jeremy is gonna smash. It's actually not my team to win this, and my team might actually be a really big surprise. We'll get to that after. Another team that has been doing really well, and I enjoyed. I wasn't that accustomed. Is the scuffy looking Nerf Herders versus Blockbuster Video. My pick was on Blockbuster, but man, Nerf Herders really did a good job in this match.
Scruffy-looking Nerf Herders, and I didn't realize we were going to get to this so quickly. Not only is my favorite team name, they are also my dark horse team to win the entire tournament.
Okay.
I have been very impressed, especially with a guy like Antonio and stuff. Very prolific in the geek categories, as we've seen him play in other divisions and other leagues. So getting MCU here definitely helped out a lot. But they are another team that I think with just a little bit of luck, could play spoiler to a lot of the bigger teams out there. And they are a lower ranked team at 12. I could see them making a deeper run.
Well, we'll talk about this later, but they actually got knocked out by Clash of Demon Head, though.
You know what? You're right. They did. You're right.
So, but at that time,
they were my pick to win everything. I am. You know what? I got caught up in the moment. Blue.
I actually agree with you, though. Like, watching them, I did not know much of them, but they left so much on mark that I was like, you know what? Look out for them. Sad to see, and we'll talk a bit later, sad to see where they actually ended up. But it wasn't against just anyone's team, though. The team they got eliminated by are very good.
Yes.
Talking about, though, that match, round one was tight. Like, a lot of it was tight. That's the thing. It was a back and forth compared to the Wall of Silence versus the Spirit Guide. You kind of did not know who's going to win until the last minute of it. And these are the types of matches I want to see multiplex. It just sucks my boys from Blockbuster Video didn't, win, but at least it's from a team that at least gave their all, and not Blockbuster just lose by 20 points.
I totally agree with you. They were a dominant. This was a very tight match, and it's the kind of match, like you said, that you want to see out of these competitors, and it's the kind of match that multiplex often delivers for us, just because of the caliber of player, especially in this Warzone tournament, as we'll get into more and more as we break everything down. We see a lot of these matches.
Yeah. Okay, so going on to the next match. Sorry for rushing this. We're trying to be most compact possible. We're going to go on now to Mirror Image versus Waterloo. I gotta say, I am impressed by both teams. Waterloo, but both of them is not two teams I'm that much familiar with as well, but I discovered, and I really hope to see Mirror Image again in the upcoming future. And I think they can improve upon, to the sense that they're good right now. If they do a bit of tweaks, they have a good chemistry that they could be ones to watch in upcoming tournaments or upcoming matches. I don't think it's the end of them. But Waterloo, wow, what a performance.
Yeah, like, you see a lot of these matches, and you think this is the best that a team can do. But then the next match right away, you see something even more incredible happen. And Waterloo, again, and I can't believe that I just embarrassed myself over this. But yeah, they were another team that I've become more and more familiar with as we dive deeper and deeper into multiplex. And they were a team that I was definitely looking out for in this tournament.
I'll just say it right now, because this might, contradict what I'm saying, because there are a couple matches going during this taping right now. So the results might come in when the show gets posted. But my dark horse, the ones that I want to win and might be surprising for everyone, is I think Jurassic Shark is going to win the tournament.
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting pick. Not something I would be surprised by, just because I know about the level of skill that they have there. But that's an interesting pick. And you know what? Now that my boys have been knocked out, maybe I'll be jumping on board with you.
Because there's a lot of good teams, right? But they were the dark horse. The win against Barbarian Society, which is a match we covered before, so we're not going to go deep into it. But I think it's Jurassic Shark's time. Again, I might be contradicted, and the results might come in after. But I deeply think that they are the dark horse, and that's going to motivate them to go at least at the finals or win it all. Because they, compared to what they did last year, apparently are getting better and better. And there's just something about them that I think is evolving so well that they're only going to just smash the competitors, because they broke a lot of brackets. Apparently no one's expecting them to win, and someone like I think Canada loves a dark horse, loves an underdog story, and they're definitely the underdog story, and I'm definitely rooting for them.
Oh yeah, and you know what? That's the thing I really do love. There's a lot of great. There's a lot of very rootable teams, if you will. A lot of teams that it's very easy to root for in this tournament, and that's another reason why I think this tournament. And I'm glad we're doing an episode like this where we can give love to all these different matches.
Yeah. Another one we covered was Light It Up versus Con of the Dead. Light It Up win. They're another like one of the favorites, in this tournament. And then they apparently improved a lot, like communication-wise, they're getting better and better. It just sucks to see Con of the Dead go off. I love Jay. There's no shared secret now that Jay is one of my favorite managers and performers. There's something special about him that, Multiplex is very lucky to have him. It just sucks that we won't see more of him. But Light It Up, I definitely think are going to stir a lot of the tournament up. Just don't think they're going to win, though.
I would not. I don't know why. I keep saying this about every match, and maybe that's just because, again, how impressed I have been. Light it up. You look at that match, and I covered that one with Jake and Caleb. I was incredibly impressed by the level of knowledge displayed in that match, and as well hearing more of the backstory from people who were actually there at the time about the amount of improvement. I think in a tournament, the most important thing you can have is momentum. And I think tying the points record and showing that level of improvement, I think only builds your momentum, which I think is a very important thing to have going to this tournament as they face it up against Jurassic Snark. And I would not be surprised if that is an all-timer.
Yeah. All right. So the other match we have to cover is That's What She Says versus Warrior Density. I don't get that name. It's probably the second worst name, Warrior Density, but that's just me. But this
you don't get that? You don't get that?
I get it, but I don't like it, to be honest.
It's a Back to the Future joke.
I know. That being said, I'm not going to hide it. I'm sorry, guys and girls. This was probably my least favorite match.
Oh, my God, Lou.
I know. Weird. It's just not both of them didn't impress me. I'm going to be a bit hard on them. It just, they're lacking something. Like, if you're going to impress me, you have to do what Jurassic Shark is doing, or what a couple, or even like Mirror Image, who lost but gave these moments of communication and suspense. Both of them are just lacking something for me. I'm really sorry, but take it as a critic's view and just as a positive reinforcement. They're both in need of work to do on their teams.
I came into this match with a little bit more, being a little bit more forgiving, because where your density contains a friend of mine, someone who I actually play with in another league, Brendan Dunlap, and stuff. And so seeing them and seeing my boy perform well, and I understand this was not the highest accuracy, most impressive match in the tournament that we've seen. But I still think there's something there to playing at your level. There is a case to be made on both accounts that there is that level. There's something else that needs to happen. And I think that's why when you look at these teams, they're ranked 7th and 10th. These are not a top 2. These are not a top 3 or a top 5 team. And they're not even a team that's a little bit lower on the totem pole, like say a Con of the Dead or a scruffy looking nerf herder who's out there with something to prove, who has that chip on their shoulder. These guys, I think, are still teams that are developing and will only now, let's break the fourth wall a little bit. As we're recording this, the Wild Stallions were changing the name because Brian's partner had to exit, versus where your density match is premiering right now. So for all I know, where your density could be out of the tournament, or they could be moving on to the semifinals at this very moment.
I hope where Nancy proves me wrong. What I'm saying is less about their knowledge and more about their team chemistry. There's something off about their team chemistry that I think you kind of need to be the top dog teams that I see lacking compared to the other teams. Like something like Lighted Up needed to work on, and now look at where they're at now. It's something they have to definitely work on because it doesn't work for me at all right now. I know now I didn't know he was part of like your boy team, but at the same time, it is what it is. But they just don't impress me chemistry wise, and that's one of the most important things. You can have the knowledge, but this is teams. If you don't have the chemistry with your teammate, you're gonna fail eventually.
I agree with that, and I think that comes down to looking at history and how things and different players have been able to progress. Right. I think looking at a team like Lighted Up again, who has improved so much, I would not be surprised if a year from now we're saying the exact same thing, if not a similar thing, about both of these teams. Because I think when you look at their knowledge, I think it's there on both accounts. They definitely have areas where I think they are very, very strong. And I think both of these teams will be doing big things. Obviously, not for a while because we got to wrap up this tournament, but going forward.
Yeah. All right. Round 2. Now, Concept versus Waterloo. They impressed me the first round. It's a bit different of a subject in round 2. I'm not surprised. Like, Concept is such an impressive and also so likable. Like, I would have a hard time being a heel against them. They're so awesome as competitors, and this is what I'm talking about, chemistry. Their chemistry is off the roof, man. They know each other inside and out. They almost seem to, communicate telepathically off the screen and know exactly what the other one's thinking, and knowing when to put their trust into each other's teammates, knowing their strengths, etc. So there's something so, so innate with them that they seem to be like almost one player, even though they're a team. And I love Waterloo, but I wasn't surprised they lost against Concept because they're that much of a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that, can we talk for a second about political films being a category? I would really like to sit down. That's another great thing that the tournament exposes is these deep cut and these strength categories that players can request. I think we learn a lot by breaking down these categories. Political films is not something I would have thought to even think about. But when you see, and even though Waterloo ends up losing it, I think being able to look at a category like that and do. They did good. They didn't do great, but they did good in the category. I think is a good sign. But Concept really is the story here. Winning by KO. These guys obviously they're the number one seeded team for a reason. Jake's an amazing player. I would not be surprised. I've said I'm not going to be surprised with any outcome apparently because that's just my word. That's my phrase of the day.
Phrase of the year, sir.
Phrase of the year. Phrase of the year. So, you talk. I'm just talking in circles now.
All right. But we're actually going to go on to the other match, Clash of Demon Head versus Scruffy. Yeah, Clash wins really easy, actually. But as much as I love Coho, I was going for Scruffy because they really impressed me. But this is another team that they're such a well-oiled machine. Sorry, my French kicked in for a second there. And they killed them, man. I was so heartbroken when I saw the result. But
you were heartbroken? How heartbroken do you think I was?
You have a heart?
Oh, Lou.
All right, but and the downfall of Scruffy is not doing the right strategy, like especially Star Trek, like their challenge, the try they did with their challenge. I could understand, but you can see when it kind of went downhill from there when it got overturned. Just something was slightly off. They weren't the same team they were in round one.
Yeah, and I think that is what can happen sometimes when you have a challenge not go your way. You can be deflated, and I think that is what separates the great teams from the good teams. How do you recover and bounce back when it swings the other way? When you take a swing and you miss, like with your challenge, how can you recover and how can you move forward?
All right, and talk about moving forward. There's a couple matches left that we haven't seen. Like I said, there's one premiering right now, so I'll jump back on that right after. But right now, what's left? Well, basically, the other rounds right now, you got the winner. So it's the Concept versus Clash of Demon Head. But we also are waiting the results for Wild Stallions versus Where Your Density and Light It Up versus Jurassic Sharks. Give me who do you think is going to win between Wild Stallions and Where Your Density?
Well, Wild Stallions actually, there's been a change up there where Brian had to get a new partner. Now, I'm not that match again premiering right now, so I'm not 100% sure who that new partner is. But coming in round 2 to a tournament, I don't know if this is someone who Brian has played before with, but it can throw off your rhythm, especially when Wild Stallions had such a good first match. I think the edge has to go to Where Your Density, just because they are a cohesive team and they don't have that X factor going into it.
All right. I think the Wall Stallions, or whatever they're renaming, I'm taking them. So I say it's Wall Stallions that will move on next. What about Light It Up and Jurassic Sharks?
See, Jurassic Sharks, I think, is a good pick for you to say that they could play spoiler, but Light It Up just consistently, when you go to their last few matches, have performed so well and they've improved so much. And we go back to that momentum thing that I was talking about. They are a team who has momentum on their side now. And I don't know if the Sharks have to keep swimming or they die, but I don't know if that will be enough to beat Light It Up.
I just think, I personally no spoilers, I think Jurassic Sharks is going to win it because they're hungry, and Light It Up is getting momentum, but sometimes, I don't know, it's just a gut feeling that their momentum might die out because Jurassic Sharks are just hungrier, sorry for the pun, but they're going to eat them up. And there's something about that blood in the water that they're going to sniff, and they're just going to run with it. I might be completely wrong and Light It Up win by TKO, but I really think that, Jurassic Sharks is going to win that. So that being said, who do you think is going to win between the Concept versus Clash?
See, that is a very interesting match, and that may be another all-timer, as I said that Jurassic Shark versus Light It Up could be. But the Concept is just such a well-balanced and strong fundamental team. But I'm just going to say, but Clash of Demon Head has two really strong competitors. And when you look at someone like Coho, especially, who, if he can get a data-rich category, I think that team unstoppable at that point. But I do think that overall, I think Light It Up is going to be the champions at the end of this.
Okay. See, how I see it is going to be the Concept winning, going to the finals, and you're going to have Wild Stallions versus Jurassic Shark. Jurassic's going to win, and it's going to be the Concept versus Jurassic Sharks. And I'm going to contradict myself, but I think the Concept is going to win the tournament, but just by like a couple of points. Very, very close match for the Concept versus Jurassic Sharks. So I'm saying the Concept is going to win, but Jurassic Sharks is going to break a lot of brackets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they've already been doing that by taking out Bombardment's squad. So I would not be surprised to see, there it is again. I'm going to put a ticker in the corner of how many times I say that. I would be excited to see how many brackets they have busted. They've already busted mine, so
there you go. All right, so we're gonna jump into the match that's playing right now, multiplex. So let's hope what we're saying actually is credible. But thank you very much for watching, and till next time, bye bye.
Bye bye. Follow me on Twitter.